A man set himself ablaze outside Donald Trump's court hearing. Let's talk about that for a moment. Former President Donald Trump's hush money trial resumed on the 20th of April today in New York City for the fourth day. Alternate jurors were selected before the court held what's known as a Sandoval hearing to discuss the scope of the prosecution's cross-examination if Trump decides to testify. Trump later told reporters he would take the stand. A man set himself on fire outside the courthouse that same afternoon, just before the trial took a break for lunch. The man, whom police identified as Maxwell Azaredo of St. Augustine Fla, was in the designated protest area. Some are saying that he acted this way for some conspiracy theorist reasons, and we've gathered some videos to shed light on this topic. Stick around for some key takeaways involving this incident and what you need to know about Donald Trump's trial. So why exactly did this happen? Let's take a look at this video to find out why.
So there was a man who just set himself on fire outside of the courthouse where Trump is starting his trial, and they are already trying to call him a conspiracy theorist, and his whole manifesto is online. I have already gone through his entire manifesto since he just set himself on fire not even 40 minutes to an hour ago, and I feel like I need to get in front of the story before they try to deem this a conspiracy theorist related idea. Not only did he say he was going to do it, he left a step-by-step on his own website. Literally look at the title of this. It says apparent conspiracy theorist sets himself on fire outside of Trump trial. A man who set himself on fire outside of court moments after a jury was seated in former President Trump's civil fraud trial apparently promoted wide-ranging conspiracy theorists. This is the man. I am going to read to you his manifesto. And the thing about it is, how many people have you seen in the news being jerked themselves because of conspiracy theory? I feel like you need to pay attention. If the news is saying something is a conspiracy, it's probably not. I have a feeling they're going to try to take his manifesto down. So here is the link at the bottom if you want to hurry up and go read it, but I'm going to tell you what it is. So he released this right before he himself. And the title is, I have set myself on fire outside the Trump trial. My name is Max. I can't pronounce that. And he says, I am an investigative researcher who has set himself on fire outside of the Trump trial in Manhattan. This extreme act of protest is to draw attention to an urgent and important discovery. You guys, he did this to call attention to this. He said, we are victims of a totalitarian con, and our own government, along with many of our other allies, is about to hit us with an apocalyptic fascist world coup. He even said that they would call this a conspiracy theory. He said, there are proof of conspiracy. If you investigate this mountain of research, you will prove them too. If you learn a great deal about Ponzi schemes, you will discover that our life is a lie. And if you follow this story in the link below, you will discover the rotten truth of post-truth America. I don't have time to go through all of this, but just look at what he says. He talks about Bitcoin, right? And then he says the March 2023 bank failures were all intentional. The banks were used to move out stolen Ponzi money, which he's referring to Bitcoin, I'm assuming. And he said this signals that they are no longer dumping cash in to keep the cryptocurrency Ponzi afloat, and that it will still soon go insolvent, as all Ponzi's must. It says when the Ponzi scheme goes insolvent, it will take down half the stock market with it. The perpetrators use their major companies to pipe into the blockchain so they can funnel money out from the crypto exchanges. This includes Google, Tesla, Apple, PayPal, Facebook, Disney, Walmart, Target, Invel, Zoom, and countless others. It is a Ponzi scheme so large that it could create global inflation, which is why the price of Bitcoin has been remarkably leading the indicator for inflation rates. Victims who bought Cryptcoin don't realize their money has already been stolen, so their money gets doubly counted by the victims and the criminals who stole. I'm going to come back and keep reading it, but does that not make sense? Everyone is trying to figure out what's up with inflation and why we're sending money off. It's probably because of the cryptocurrency failure. I'll keep you guys updated.
Did y'all hear about the man that set himself ablaze today outside of the hush money trial for Trump today in New York City? Well, he has been identified, and this is Max Azzarello. He calls himself an investigative researcher. Just yesterday, he was protesting, and this is the sign that he had up. Trump is with Biden, and they're about to fascist coup us. Now, politics is not my thing, so you know I had to go to Google to find out what is a fascist coup. So I don't know what type of statement he was trying to make, but y'all could pause to read. Now, there were witnesses who were interviewed, and this one lady said that he shouted to her to get out the way, but before he lit himself ablaze, he threw out these pamphlets. Please hold. Now, witnesses said that he yelled to everyone to get back. He doused himself in gasoline and he lit himself on fire. But before he did that, He threw out a bunch of these pamphlets. The pamphlet says the true history of the world. I want to see what those pamphlets said, so I'm about to go down the rabbit hole. But in the meantime, y'all meet me in the comments. Did y'all hear about this?
Well, I don't know if you heard of the saying, don't play with fire if you don't expect to sweat. Apparently, a man goes down to Donald Trump's trial and sets himself on fire. Sets himself on fire. He says under the Biden administration, he couldn't take it no more. He lost everything. And the only thing that he can think of to do was to set himself on fire. Wow. If you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. Yes, indeed. Well, I'm praying for him and his family, and I pray that he didn't burn himself so much that he can't recover. And I pray that he's still alive. And if anybody is going through the same mental issue, I'm praying for you too. Don't give up. Just remember, don't give up. Life can change within the blink of an eye. Things can be better. It might be bad today. It might be good tomorrow. Don't give up. All right.
Damn, see, this is why I say that Trump be having some crazy impact on people. This man took a trip away from Florida all the way to New York just to be outside of the courthouse of the Donald Trump's hush money trial. This man started taking out flyers out his backpack and started throwing it all over the place. He took some liquor, poured it on himself, and lit himself on fire. Nobody knows yet why he did it. He came alone. He acted on this by himself. But this man almost turned into full ashes. Luckily, he survived. But his motives are mad unclear right now, because why would you do that? Fam, people had to hop over the fence and go try to take the fire off this man, because fire was starting to burst out all around this man too. So keep in mind that this is the first time a former US president has been tried on criminal charges. I'm not sure if that got something to do with this man setting himself up on fire, but just to give that out there. What y'all boys think about this? Because, bro, if it's not the Biden supporters or Trump, I'm not even sure if he's a supporter of any president. Again, we don't know his motives, but yo, this is wild.
A man has apparently set himself on fire outside of the courthouse where Trump is on trial today. The man is reported to still be alive and was badly burned and has been taken to the hospital. The NYPD is there and saying that there are no threats to the public, but just to be safe, the bomb squad is sweeping the area out of abundance of caution. It does appear that the man acted alone, and it's not immediately clear if the incident was related to Trump's trial. Make sure you have clicked that follow button and you are joining me here every day for the latest on current events and hot topics.
Trump has pleaded not guilty to 34 counts of falsifying business records relating to a $130,000 payment made to an adult film actor, Stormy Daniels, at the end of 2016 election cycle to keep her quiet about her allegation that her and Trump had an S-encounter. Trump has denied this affair. Now, was Trump being super generous or just making a donation for a good cause? Who knows? But let's look at some details involving this man that set himself ablaze. New York AP video cameras stationed outside the Manhattan courthouse, where former President Donald Trump is on trial, caught the gruesome scene Friday of a man who lit himself on fire and the aftermath as authorities tried to rescue him. CNN, Fox News Channel, and MSNBC were all on the air with reporters talking about the setting of a jury when the incident happened, and other news agencies, including the Associated Press, were live streaming from outside the courthouse. The man who distributed pamphlets before dousing himself in an accelerant and setting himself on fire was in critical condition. Now let's continue going down this rabbit hole, and after that I'm gonna read you some reactions involving this incident. The incident tested how quickly the networks could react and how they decided what would be too disturbing for their viewers to see. Now, I'm reading this report that has been recently written about 2 hours ago at the time of this recording. With narration from Laura Cortez, CNN had the most extensive view of the scene. Cortez, who at first incorrectly said it was a pew-pew situation, then narrated as the man was visible on screen enveloped in flames. So as one of the CNN reporters was on camera, she She thought it was a pew-pew situation, but as the incident was unfolding, she started narrating it to her viewers. And I'm pretty sure they showed this clip because I'm failing to play this clip right now. It could be that the network is busy, or maybe they're trying to take the video down, who knows. And it also says, you can smell parts of the man's body. Cortez, an anchor and CNN's chief legal analyst, said as she stood at the scene with reporter Ivan Perez. The camera switched back and forth between Cortez and what was happening in the park. 5 minutes after the incident started, CNN posted the on-screen message, warning graphic content. So during the same incident, CNN even wrote a warning sign on the screen as viewers were watching. So you can tell that this was a gruesome and disturbing scene. Cortez later said she couldn't overstate the emotional response of watching a human being engulfed in the flames, and to watch his body being lifted in a gurney or a stretcher in simpler terms. She described it an emotional and unbelievably disturbing moment here. Fox cameras caught the scene briefly as reporter Eric Shawn talked. Then the network switched to a courtroom sketch of Donald Trump on trial. So this was Fox News. After they saw that the scene was disturbing, they switched the scene to Donald Trump's court trial. And then they later wrote, "We deeply apologize for what has happened," Shawn said. Then on MSNBC, reporter Yasmin Vosoghian narrated the scene. The network showed smoke in the park, but no picture where the body was visible. "I could see the outline of his body inside the flames," Vosoghian said, which was so terrifying to see. As he went to the ground, his knees hit the ground first. Now let me read you a comment from an observer about this man's actions. The latest I heard is that he is or was a 37-year-old man who resided in Florida. His relatives didn't know he had traveled to New York City, and he threw sheets of paper or pamphlets into the air with all sorts of conspiracy ideation about the mob, Florida schools, Ponzi schemes, and other things. Some of the pamphlets referenced former President George W. Bush, former Vice President Al Gore, and lawyer David Boies, who represented Gore in the 2000 presidential election recount. The NYPD associated the writings as propaganda-based. I haven't heard the papers specifically referenced the Trump trial. In any case, an utterly wasted and ineffectual action that either will take his life or permanently scar him severely. Now, let's do a recap on Donald Trump's trial. So Donald Trump is currently facing a trial related to hush money payments. Here are the main points regarding the trial. Charges. Trump has been charged with 34 counts of first-degree falsifying business records, which is a low-level felony. Allegations. The prosecution alleges that Trump falsified business records to conceal payments made to suppress damaging information during the 2016 presidential election. This involves a payment of $130,000 to adult film star Stormy Daniels, which Trump's former lawyer Michael Cohen claims was to keep her silent about an alleged encounter with Trump. Now, Trump was maintained his innocence, acknowledging the reimbursement to Cohen, but claiming he was unaware of the details of Cohen's actions. Jury selection. The jury selection process has been tense and meticulous, with potential jurors being asked detailed questions to ensure impartiality. Trial proceedings. The trial is set to begin with opening statements on Monday, following a dramatic end to jury selection. So the trial is significant as it marks the first time of a former president is standing trial in criminal case. For more detailed information, you can follow the ongoing coverage of the trial through major news outlets. Very important discussion indeed. Tell me what you think about Trump and his money transfer. Do you think that was just a generous contribution, or there's something involved that we don't know about? And people are calling this man who set himself ablaze mentally unstable. They are saying that this action was unnecessary, and they are calling his claims conspiracy theories. You tell us what you think in the comment section regarding his actions. With that being said, please like this video if you found it interesting, insightful, or educative. Share this video with your friends and family to keep them informed. Subscribe to our channel to become part of our community. I will see you in the next video. Signing off. Take care.